What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash. And today, we are giving you Stay Hot's top 30 players in the NFL. You've seen us go through each position group and give you our consensus top 10. We each brought a top 10 list for those positions. Now we're going to go through those and draft the top 30 players. So Theo will pick a player, I'll pick a player, Matt will pick a player, and we'll just cycle through until we've drafted the top 30 players in the NFL. And it should be a very fun time, and each of us will have our own top 10, and you guys can roast us on Twitter for it, or in the Stay Hot group chat, and it'll be a ton of fun. But before we get into that, Matt, Theo, on this glorious Wednesday afternoon, a little bit early of a record for us, how are you guys doing?
We're at odds, bro. I didn't realize this until recently. It's Panthers, Browns, week 1 in the preseason. I had no idea that was their first opponent.
We're boxing,
and that's
dog.
That's going to be a big time game. Shedeur Sanders is starting. I'm kind of hype. I won't lie. Like, how can you not get a little excited for that just off of,
Stay hot.
Here's the thing. My band is playing a show Friday night. I'm going to be like on stage, like checking my phone in between songs. It's like, Shedeur threw a pick.
I'm excited for the preseason, dude. I'm really excited to see some of the Panthers' depth. And I'm excited to see the Browns. Wait, who did they got Tyler Huntley,
They got Tyler Huntley, dude.
Over 3.5 quarterbacks starting a game, by the way.
It's a lot. It's such a lot.
Yeah, I've seen enough. But yeah, I'm pumped for that. And I was interested by the Stafford news that his back is kind of screwed up. I really think I'm worried about the Rams' health situation. Stafford has always been kind of iffy.
Yeah.
Adams is older. Puka's like, I really think that could come back to bite him. They say he's week to week and they'll see about week 1, but I've also seen some reports from like different reporters or whatever that I can't remember and I can't recall on, and I wouldn't be able to go find even if I wanted to, that like it's pretty concerning. So we'll see.
He's got a herniated disc in his back.
That doesn't sound great.
No, that's not good.
It's not great.
Yeah. I mean, Stafford's always been one to kind of fight back from injuries. Like, I'm not concerned about, like, once he gets healthy, will he perform well? He probably will. But just any timeline where it's like, well, he's week to week, he might not play for the first few games of the season. That puts them behind schedule a little bit. Makes it harder for them, down the stretch. But
yeah, they're not a certain playoff team. That's
right,
certainly
exactly
true. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on that. That to me is like the biggest news of training camp outside of the trade request, is that Stafford is looking pretty banged up, and that could be a total game changer because they're one of the scariest teams in the NFC in terms of knocking off the Eagles if they can stay healthy. If.
Devontae Adams is talking about how much he loves playing with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's over for
I saw that
for Stafford.
But that doesn't matter, right? It doesn't mean anything at all. No?
They also signed Kyren Williams to about a $33 million contract, the Rams, which I think is fine. I like Kyren Williams just because he runs with the indomitable human spirit. Like, that's my takeaway from Kyren Williams is like he literally just keeps his legs moving no matter what. He doesn't dilly-dally. He just churns forward however he can. I think he got like exactly 0 yards over expected last year.
Got the exact right amount of yards.
He got the exact right amount of yards that the line blocked for him, according to.
I don't know. He's not one of my like favorite backs or anything. Them giving him an extension is whatever to me. I mean, it's really not that much money, all things considered, but I'm not moved one way or another by it.
He'll be a solid fantasy pick, and if you bought Blake Corum in Dynasty, I don't know what to tell you.
He's on the team that I orphaned. Corum, I was really low on him. I don't think he's ever going to get serious time because they drafted that Hunter guy. I don't know what the reports are out of camp at all, but I would not be surprised. Corum was cool until he got banged up at Michigan, and his last year, like, no way, he was not the same. How high of a pick did they spend on Blake Corum? It wasn't a third rounder, was it?
I think it was a third rounder, and I think Jarquez Hunter is a fifth rounder.
Did they?
I don't know.
Corum? I liked Corum a good bit, but
and like I feel like what I was saying last year was maybe an extra year removed, he looks better, but he didn't really. I mean, they didn't hardly let him touch the ball. I think he had like 200 yards or whatever. So every sign this offseason, and also what the Rams have done, and also the way he played at Michigan his final season, has not boded well for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Kyren Williams is going to get a ton of carries. I think he's going to get a ton of carries.
if
He's
Stafford
had ankle injuries in the past, which is a little concerning, but. And like you said, Blaiden, if Stafford is hurt, they're going to lean on him more.
But Theo, how excited are you for preseason?
I'm pretty pumped. There's storylines on every team to get excited about. And I'm excited for new ones to emerge. Like, you never really know who's going to kind of be a fun story for a little bit. Who knows if it ever actually turns into anything. But, like, this Chargers receiver is, like, is he going to be a starter? Like, did we just find a superstar? Like, are we set for, like, there's so much hope and there's so much optimism, and the starters don't play, so no one really important looks bad ever. It's just nothing but, like, some rookie is showing out, and it's a fun time for that reason. But I'm also more excited for the preseason to be over and for the regular season to start.
Yeah. It's gonna kick ass, man. So, you want to get into this draft?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. How do we want to decide who wants the first pick?
You can take it, Blaiden.
All right. Yeah, I'll take the first pick, and I'm going to give myself the first good quarterback of my lifetime and take Patrick Mahomes.
The first good quarterback of your lifetime?
I don't understand what you're going for with that one.
That's not, it's not technically true. Baker was a good quarterback.
Technically. I still don't understand what the angle is there.
Look, it's just like, as a Browns fan, I haven't gotten to watch a lot of good quarterback play. Give myself a good quarterback.
As a Browns fan, I mean, I guess Mahomes he hasn't been on the Browns.
What?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I'm very confused now.
You didn't watch, like, Tom Brady or anything? Like a Rodgers game, or I need the joke explained to me.
How is Mahomes, as a Browns fan, more of your quarterback than, like...
No, I'm saying drafting him is like, as hypothetically 2017 I drafted Mahomes.
I was viewing this more as we're just sort of drafting.
No, we are. I was just trying to be funny, and the joke didn't land.
I thought you meant Mahomes was
the
first good quarterback you've ever seen. And I was like,
that's also true, man.
Your standards are very high. But I mean, he might be the GOAT. Do you think he's the GOAT? Do you think he's the best quarterback you've ever seen?
The best quarterback ever?
Brady was pretty damn good for a long time. I am starting to become more and more longevity pilled. Like, we have the conversations about Jerry Rice and LeBron, and it's just like, yeah, those guys are great into their 40s. And that's just like, same with Brady. Brady was great past 40. You know, he's got longevity, Hall of Fame careers.
It's an interesting conversation because it's not necessarily about just playing for a long time, but being effective for a long time.
Right.
I was thinking about Frank Gore today, and, you know, he's probably going to get into the Hall of Fame off the back of being third in all-time rushing yards. And ultimately, like, I have nothing against Frank Gore, so that's fine. But I definitely feel like his longevity, where, I mean, past his age 31 season, he averaged like 3.7 yards a carry or something like that, is a lot different than like a Tom Brady or a Jerry Rice, who were, you know, pushing for MVPs or all pros or whatever. That's completely different, you know, completely different things. So I think in terms of the GOAT debate, the way that I look at it as if you were a GM and you could have one guy in their era for their entire career, who would you pick? I think that's the fair way to look at it. In the NFL, I think it's a little bit more complicated because you have to also be like, and positional value doesn't count, right? If you want to include non-quarterbacks, but to me, it's then definitely still Tom Brady off of longevity. I still would definitely rather have him for his whole career rather than Mahomes. But Mahomes, in terms of like his first year started, I feel like is definitely better than where Brady was, right?
It's
but the hard
best
part is keeping
career
that up for a long
trajectory
time.
of all time. But yeah, is he going to keep that up for 2 decades plus?
I don't even necessarily think he has to do it for 2 decades. I don't know if he has to like go complete band for band with Brady all the way through. And I don't think he has to match him in Super Bowls. Like, I'm not that ring based. Obviously, there's more factors at play than that. But in terms of the GOAT debate, like, nah, I don't think I'm there with really considering Mahomes. Really, I think Jerry Rice is the other guy who should be considered. But I don't know. I feel like people aren't. There's more people who say Randy Moss is a better receiver than Jerry Rice all the time.
And that's the most like insane take.
It's a crazy take. Then say Jerry Rice is better than Brady, I think. But that might be quarterback bias.
Yeah.
What do you think, Theo?
I think Mahomes has the best prime we've seen so far. I mean, I think if he's tracking ahead of Brady at age 29, you know. So I think in some ways that makes him the GOAT. But I agree that Brady has opened your championship window for a longer time than Mahomes has, just with his longevity. And I'd rather have more years of Brady than less years of Mahomes. And that's probably true for a couple quarterbacks like Peyton too. And Rodgers.
It's just incomplete. Like, Mahomes' career just isn't anywhere close to what it's going to be by the end, theoretically, right? So I know that's kind of a cop-out position to be like, well, we have to wait and see. But my answer is
that's
just
a cop-out.
Otherwise, the answer is just straight up like, no. Mahomes is not the GOAT over Tom Brady.
Right.
He's not. You would rather have Tom Brady for his entire career so far. He could be.
Yeah.
But Blaiden, he is the best player in the league right now, according to this draft. You've selected him first overall, Blaiden, even though he did not finish high in MVP voting. Burrow was ahead of him. Lamar and Josh Allen were obviously ahead of him. So why is Mahomes your number one right now?
I mean, the thing that still stands out about Mahomes is it almost feels like, and we talked about this with Jalen Hurts for a while when he was, kind of having his, transition from college to the NFL and then his MVP caliber season in 22. It just feels like he keeps getting better, keeps like changing his game to the type of team that he has around him. We early on Mahomes, it was a lot of, get outside the pocket, make stuff happen with your legs, and then just let that shit fly. Tyreek's down there. He's going to catch it. Like, just the most explosive passing attack in the league. And now all of a sudden, he's just the most perfect, pristine, hit all your throws, clutch time, fourth quarter, final drive. I'm completing 10 straight passes, and we're going to win the game that way. And I'm like, no one else is doing that. Really, truly, no one else is operating that smoothly in the NFL right now outside of Mahomes. And so when I need like a drive, a game, and like everything else is the same, I want Mahomes.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
I don't think a lot of people realize, although I've mentioned it on this pod and on Twitter many
They
times.
better realize it. Theo keeps bringing it up.
But I don't know if the general public realizes that Mahomes had a higher percentage of his team's offensive yards than Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson last year. Like, he really put the team on his back without much of a running game. And with receivers that are
I agree,
below average.
And that's very true. His offense around him really, really stinky this year, like really bad, honestly. I will say, though, I do think Lamar and Josh Allen bring something to the run game that Mahomes definitely does not.
No,
defenses are not worrying about Mahomes in the run game the same way that they're worrying about Allen
True.
or Lamar. And on some level, like that gets Lamar and Allen like rushing yards themselves. So maybe that should help their percentage. But on another level, it also helps like, James Cook or Derrick Henry or whoever. And I don't think Allen or Lamar are on like super stacked teams either. Right. So it's a balance. I had Mahomes as my quarterback once still, but it's certainly dang close. If next year one of those two guys can just get Mahomes in a playoff game, I think consensus opinion could shift to either one of them easily.
Yeah, but I think the biggest difference is like the Chiefs just don't make mistakes, and it's in large part because they have Mahomes at.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
When's the last time we had three quarterbacks in the NFL as good as the top three we have right now? I know that might be a difficult question to answer off the dome, and I honestly didn't think about it until right this second. But I was thinking like Mahomes is, we're talking about can he go for a GOAT case and he's in his prime, right? Even if he's not coming off the strongest season. Lamar and Allen are both like MVP, true MVP level players, right? It's not often you have three guys like this. Was there a time where, maybe it was Peyton and Brady and Breeze and Rodgers all around that early 2010 is something you think about.
And even Ben was balling out in that time too. So like,
I think people, my feeling though is like, honestly, I saw that Madden rated Lamar and Allen 99 overalls. And I was like, yeah, that sounds fair. And I went back and I looked, it's like, how many quarterbacks on opening day of the game dropping have been 99s? And the answer is like, there's been 7. It's been like Breeze and Peyton and Rodgers and Brady. And I think like maybe a couple of other guys, but like we've got quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And the converse, I hate to do this. Like we should really appreciate what we have. I just roll my eyes every time I hear a take like that, even if it's right. No disrespect. But I do think we talk so much about like Allen and Lamar not making it out of the AFC. And like maybe like Lamar has a couple of bad playoff moments or whatever. But like we are the 3 best guys, and I would extend that maybe even to 5 or whatever you want. The 3 best guys that we've got right now are insane. They are so good. You don't always have 3 QBs playing at this level. And I guarantee you in 10, 15 years, people are going to say these modern quarterbacks weren't anything like these dudes we have right now. I guess that's pretty much always true about everything all the time. But
everything always gets better, and
not that everything always gets better, but that people always are like, this isn't anything like this used to be. And I'm looking at what we have right now, and I'm thinking like, dude, I don't know. I think this might be better. I think the 3 best quarterbacks in the NFL might be. I'll take these 3 with any other 3 that there are at any other time. Truly, they're that level.
Yeah, prime Rodgers was pretty spectacular.
Rodgers, Brady, Manning, Breeze is pretty good.
It is pretty good.
It's pretty.
That was what like, and they were all like prime. That would be from like, I don't know, maybe 2010 to 2013, because then Peyton started falling apart.
Yeah.
Is there a time when like Marino, Favre, and like Elway and Steve Young were all at like the peak of their powers?
I was having a debate with somebody about like who the greatest just pure passer ever is, and he thought it was Rodgers, but I still think it might be. I think it might be Marino.
Rodgers is correct, but regardless, Mahomes is a valid first overall pick, even though he's down. I don't think he deserves to be knocked too far down any leaderboards, because he's the best in the playoffs again. Like he just was, and. Yeah, he doesn't maybe have the impact on the run game that Jackson did, but he still damn near led the Chiefs in rushing this playoffs. Like he will scamper for the clutchest scrambles and get first downs at big moments. So he's about the best option that they have on that team still, which is kind of ridiculous.
For sure.
Who is the second pick here?
That'll be me, and I will take Lamar, who, to piggyback off what Matt is saying, like Lamar really may have just had the best regular season ever. Like when you consider the kind of offense that Baltimore had and just how much of that seems to be affected by him. You look at some of the highest success rate seasons in recent rushing history, you see names like Gus Edwards, And you see names like Keaton Mitchell and Derrick Henry now, obviously, and a lot of Ravens running backs that have played with Lamar. He seems to have kind of a funny effect on that. And then there's a chart that kept getting shared that was supposed to hurt Lamar's case for MVP, which was like how much separation his receivers had. But I always thought it was a little bit fishy, how far above the Ravens receivers of all people were above, the rest of the league. And they've got good route runners like Zay Flowers and Bateman do create a lot of separation, definitely more than the Bills guys. But for them to be that high above everybody, it has a lot to do with Lamar's amazing ability to extend plays, and corners just can't cover guys for that long. And Lamar is just, he's a maestro, right? He's the best in the league at that, I think. And so he just seems to have this all-encompassing effect on the skill position players and the offense generally, where it's like, man, his rushing ability and his ability to be a playmaker himself is the best in NFL history. And man, that is making life really, really easy for his offensive linemen, his running backs, and his receivers.
Yep.
It's hard to disagree with him, man. Lamar is freaky special. He's freaky in control all the time. I think you could put him at 1 and I would have found it understandable, man. He's that good. So I got no issue with that pick.
So then, Matt, you've got 2 picks back to back here.
I think my 2 picks are easy. I mean, there's a couple of guys I could consider, but honestly, my 1 and 2 are still on the board. I'll start with my 1, which is Justin Jefferson. Jefferson did not have his craziest year. He was only second in yards, and averaged just 10 yards a target, which is third best of the 5 years that he's played. But if we're giving anybody else points for consistency over the last couple of years, nobody deserves it more than Jefferson. He averages the most yards per game of any player in the history of the NFL. And while I think that Chase statistically had a better season, it's also hard to ignore that Chase played in an offense that threw way more than Minnesota. I think Cincinnati ranked 2nd and Minnesota was 17th. For a 200-yard gap, I don't mean to make this come off as some sort of shot at Chase or anything, but like absolutely that's a massive fantasy number advantage or statistical advantage. Jefferson is one of the most efficient, one of the most consistent players in the NFL. His vision and his ability to play the ball in the air is phenomenal. I still think about that Bills game that he had where, he just completely took over and said, just throw it up to me. I'm going to go make it happen with a couple of like genuinely the best catches I've ever seen.
Yeah. There's a video on the Stay Hot account ranking the 10 catches that he had in that game. 10 to 1, and they're all
one of the best receiver
valid
performances ever. It truly is. And he's made it happen with several different receivers. We talk about the best starts to a career that anybody has ever had. Dude, Jefferson has had one of the best starts to a career that anybody has ever had. The only thing that holds him back is the fact that he was hurt in 2023 and he didn't get to play a full season. But even then, in 10 games, he still cracked 1,000 yards. So if we're going for that mark, it's crazy impressive. Again, the efficiency that he's had, 10.2 yards per target, is a lot of great receivers like best mark ever, and that's his average. So I couldn't be any higher on Jefferson. I don't know where he ranks in terms of value. Like, there's probably a good number of quarterbacks who are over him, and frankly, I think the top tier edge rushers, I'd also take like maybe a couple. But like, dude, I could hear an argument for him being outside of QBs 1, with QBs maybe 6 or 7 or 8, like still in that top 10 somehow. I think he's awesome. I don't know how this is going to go with JJ McCarthy in terms of him bouncing back to like an offensive player of the year win. I don't know if the offense is going to work that well, and I think they'll be better at running the ball. So he might not put up crazy, absurd numbers again. Like Chase, I think, should have statistically a better year, but I couldn't be higher on Jefferson, and I think there's a real chance if he can keep this thing up, we'll look back and say that this is I don't know. Rice is tough to catch, but dude, there's nobody else. I don't feel like he's at least on pace to challenge, right?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, the way he gets covered in the playoffs is hilarious. Like he has kind of mundane playoff performances for how good he is. Like he has like 47 yards and 53, but he is legitimately triple teamed. They're calling coverages I've never seen before. And, Darnold is getting killed. It's the amount of attention he receives is bonkers. The production he gets despite the attention boggles the mind to even think about. He's an alien. So, yeah, if you rank him as the best non-quarterback in the league, I think that's the best non-quarterback in the league. That's what I think he is too. I think he's that.
I think there's a debate there, but
I do think there's a debate there. I think there's a pretty clear of non-quarterbacks in terms of value. There's a pretty clear top two to me. And the second is your guy, Myles Garrett, for sure. I think that Garrett is probably more valuable because of position.
Is this your
it's
pick?
Close though. Yeah, my next pick at 4 is Myles Garrett. Just the athletic dominance that he can put on even league average tackles completely wrecks games. How quickly he can get pressure is totally unstoppable. You can build a scheme around him entirely, just going where he wants to go and doing what he wants to do. And great players can do nothing to stop it. He's got a pretty good bag, but when physical freaks get drafted at like the 101 or when teams reach on, I don't know. I don't even know if you need to frame it like that. But this guy is ultimately dominant, and he's great against the run as well. His numbers are as good as anybody's, and while he lost a lot of Defensive Player of the Years to TJ Watt when Watt was getting a bunch of sacks, like he just as easily could have won those, right? He has been one of, if not the best edge rushers in the entire NFL. And with Watt having a down year and him still like, I don't know, taking the Browns defense from what I think could very well be like dead last in the league to anything else, he deserves a lot of credit. I mean, there's been years where, the Browns defense, I think still just completely like stinks across the board pretty much. And Garrett can take them out. When they made the playoffs that year, that defense was not that good outside of Myles Garrett, but they had him. And when you can rush the passer that quickly and there's nothing anybody else can do about it, you've got a chance to get some picks or to cause enough havoc to keep you honest. Now, it's not going to hold up through a whole playoff run, but it really speaks just how dominant one guy can be.
right.
Yeah, for sure. He has had 12 sacks or more like each of the last 5 seasons. Most of that are like 14 or 16 sacks. So he's, to me, in that Aaron Donald type range where like he is the Defensive Player of the Year. It's just a matter of they give it to him or not. Like I'd rather have Myles Garrett than Patrick Surtain. I think he had a better year than Patrick Surtain, but they didn't give him the award because it was a down year by his standards.
He had 14 sacks and led the league in tackles for loss, and it was a down year. Like that's completely psychotic. I think what really killed Garrett is that the Browns defense stunk anyway, in spite of it all.
Yeah, it's just the Defensive Player of the Year is effectively like an MVP for defenses award, and if your defense sucks.
And I have no problem with Surtain winning it, and I thought he had a great season, and he's a great player in his own right. But Garrett is just another type of one special dude. I don't know where he ranks among edge rushers. I wish I had thought about that before we started this podcast. But all time, he's going to start to get up there too.
He's going to start to get up there. I mean, I just did a draft of all-time players with Logan and Carson and Joel Moran, and Garrett went very high. Logan picked him very high. Lawrence Taylor went over him. Reggie White went over him.
Shut up.
I don't know who else.
I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find more than 3 guys all time. I think that are like reasonably, at least on better pace, or like have better tools.
You think he's higher than Vaughn all time?
Ooh,
I don't know.
Vaughn was pretty nasty. Vaughn
has a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah,
are we holding that over Myles Garrett?
He totally did ruin the whole the whole game. in
Miles
Super Bowl
Garrett
50,
could
but
never
Garrett
win an
could
MVP.
never get
Miles
to
Garrett
a
could
Super
never,
Bowl.
yeah,
Right.
and that wouldn't be his fault, you know.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Joe Thomas.
Garrett
Thomas
better
never-
than Von Miller. Garrett's better than Von Miller.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He might be because he's got all the bendability pretty
He's got
much
all
and
the
all the get off, and he's
speed.
also just like bigger. But
You
man,
could also
Von-
like bench press.
Von was
your
great.
tackle.
Von was nasty, man. I mean, he was a great player, but
he didn't
I don't
ever
know
win
if
a
I can-
depoy, did he?
no, I
didn't.
don't think he did.
He got second twice. That's
Wow.
rough.
Vaughn never getting a depoy. That is kind of crazy. I did.
He didn't get it in a season where he had 18 and a half sacks.
Who won
Who
it?
did he lose it to that year? Probably was that a JJ?
It must have been that sounds like DJ Watt has his fingerprints.
Because JJ got 20 and a half. That's tough. That is tough.
Damn. I mean,
18 and
I
a
can't
half sacks, and he got one vote.
I just looked at 2012 Defensive Player of the Year and Tyson Chandler came up. Get that shit out of my face. I swear the NBA pays for Google to show their results first because I know that league is not more popular than the NFL. But when I search like 2020 playoffs, it's always the NBA that pops up. Maybe people are Googling it more. Maybe NFL fans are just offline.
We are Googling it.
We are Googling Tyson Chandler. Maybe NBA fans really are having just more arguments and have to Google things like that. I could actually.
I really truly believe that's it.
Shout out NBA Twitter. I do love y'all. It's my pick again, and I'll go with Josh Allen. I think Jefferson and Garrett, I can see the argument that they're better overall players than Allen or any quarterback. But I would say Mahomes, Jackson, and Allen uniquely impact your team's like ceiling in a way that no other player in the league quite does.
Because they're quarterbacks, and I don't think you can take in.
But how about this though? Would you rather have Jefferson and Garrett or like Burrow, Herbert, or like Jaden Daniels? Like I think there might be a little bit of a tier break there, and Jefferson and Garrett would legitimately.
I don't think that makes. I don't think that makes any type of argument against it. I'll be real with you. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure at a point the quarterbacks become less valuable than like the most valuable players of like the second class of value positions, but I don't think that necessarily means that all of those tier one guys are just straight up better.
The way I look at it, Mahomes, Jackson, and Allen, like instantly kind of make you Super Bowl contenders.
That's positional value to me.
Right. Yes. But I would say then there's a break, right? And then there's Burrow, and maybe you put him in tier one, and then in which case you could take Burrow first. But then let's pretend it's after Burrow. Then it's definitely like Daniels or Hurts or, whoever, Herbert or whoever you want to say. Then I think the goodness of Jefferson and Garrett might you might take that over the quarterbackness of some of those other guys.
Daniels, I might
with that.
disagree because he's also on a rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
Look, okay, well, contract.
Yeah, to pretend they're playing for free, like
Pretend they're doing it for the love of the game.
Well, a
doing it for
contract
the
isn't
love of the
relevant
game.
in this discussion.
yeah. Like, would you rather have Jamar Chase?
I just disagree
or
with this.
Daniel?
I just disagree with this entirely. I don't think this is. Yeah, it's true that at a point, like the top tier players at edge or at wide receiver will become more valuable than like maybe even like, okay, the tier 2 or tier 3 or whatever you want to put at quarterbacks. Like I can't deny that. Although honestly, I'd have a debate like I might rather have Burrow than one of these guys. No disrespect, just because he's a QB. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's proof. To me, that still gets to the logic of you're just evaluating guys off of their like value to the team, not necessarily how good they are as players, positional value removed. Because part of the reason why you're taking Allen and Lamar and Mahomes is because they play quarterbacks still. Mm-hmm. It's true that at a point the other guys become more valuable than the quarterbacks, but that doesn't mean that any quarterback that's more valuable is also better.
I guess my theory is that the best players in the league are the guys who widen your Super Bowl window the most, or the guys who improve your chances of winning it the most. And my order for that would be Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, and then like Jefferson and Garrett.
I think that's just another way of framing value over how good they are straight up.
But if positional value mattered like all the way, then it would be Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, Burrow, Dak.
But does Burrow not improve your odds more than like, I don't know, because we're going to get down to the 30th best player. Certainly the 30th best player. Like we're going to have like 10 quarterbacks on here, or at least 8.
I don't know though. Like, does Burrow improve your chances as much as Chase does? I feel like that's a great debate.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I have the next 2 picks here, and neither of them are going to be Joe Burrow.
I don't think that Joe Burrow should be one of the next 2 picks. That's not the point I'm even making. But like, you're telling me that there are like 20 more non-quarterback players who are more valuable than QB4 or QB5? There's no chance that's true.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there.
How about not 20, but is there 5 non-quarterbacks that are better than QB4? Like,
sure, maybe. But we're going through 30. We're not going to 10.
We'll see. I'm taking Allen, and I'm happy to get him because I think that he's one of the 3 best.
And what does this mean for running backs?
What is this?
And you know what's interesting is that I'm talking to Thing 1 and Thing 2 here about the special teams players. I didn't even bring that up when we started the episode, but I'm assuming we got to have.
Well, this would be in line with your logic that, Justin Tucker belongs nowhere near the top of a top players list because he doesn't impact winning that much. He's not on the field very much.
It's a couple of things. Number one, I didn't have Justin Tucker because Justin Tucker
was always had you scouted him and you knew he was about to.
No, my take at the time is that you should go by best player straight up, not worry about positional value too much. Do the best you can. I mean, like, you're going to have a few more receivers and a few more quarterbacks. It's okay. But then kickers and special teams players don't count. That's different. That's my philosophy, and I stand by it. If you're making a top 100 list, then then throwing a kicker in there, very honorable. At 6, not so honorable. Come on. But I don't want to get back.
No, but he was so goated that year, bro. You don't get it.
He did come off a good year, if I remember, but I don't know if I would have put him quite at.
Like, all I know, I don't know. Allen is number 3.
I only had Allen a few spots down. I do think that Lamar and Allen are both. I easily had them in my top 10. I think I had them in my top 8. So
yeah, I had Jackson 2, Allen 3 on my big board. So anyway, let's go to Blaiden.
Well, I'm gonna get one of my top 3 players here at number 6. And that is Kyle Hamilton. I think he's got a case to be the best defensive player in the league, as well as one of the best non-quarterbacks in the league.
He is not better than Myles Garrett.
I don't think
a Browns fan.
I don't think he's absolutely better than Myles Garrett. I think he's got a case, though, dude. That guy can do everything. He can do absolutely everything. And I think that is what makes him so valuable to the Ravens defense, is they're just like, he's such a utility piece that no matter what you need, he can do.
Can Brian Branch do everything?
Brian Branch can also do. Brian Branch gonna be on my list here, big dog.
Maybe. I think taking him over Chase. What can't Chase do?
Well, Chase is gonna be my next pick here at 7.
Okay.
So like, I'm getting both of them. I got the swing here, so I can do whatever I want. But like, Kyle Hamilton to me is as good as any player in football. That guy is just so he's got such incredible range. People were so wrong about the 40 times stuff. Mm-hmm. They're like, he's just not explosive enough. He's got such insane reaction time. I don't think anyone perceives the game even close to the same speed that he does.
It's a little early for me. I see your vision. I do think Hamilton is closer to in a tier of his own at his position than maybe other people think. I totally agree that like his ability to cover a bunch of ground and to see things develop and make plays on the ball, combined with having the size to really get downhill, makes him like a super weapon. But I think I had him like just outside my top 10. So to me, this is a little high.
Well, I had him at number 3 on my.
Hearing his name before Chase is not what I expected. I mean, I love Kyle Hamilton, and he really can do it.
My top 5 picks would have been, or I'll even say my top. Chase would have been, so it would have gone Mahomes, Garrett, Hamilton, Jackson, Allen, then Jefferson and Chase, and then
Hamilton over
you had
Lamar.
Hamilton.
I cannot
No way.
condone. Cannot condone.
you can't.
I mean,
What pick are we even on? Let's
We're
be
on
clear.
six.
What
So
spot-
that was
okay, so this pick, so Kyle Hamilton is at 6.
yes, and Jamar
he could have
Chase
been
at
higher.
7.
you
He
think that
could have been higher.
you think that I made a big mistake taking?
You just
Josh
blew
Allen
up the
over.
graphic, by the way. When we post this thing, it's getting nuked.
I just blew up the graph.
We're gonna have to put our like little like headshot, like those little cartoons they made of us a long time. We're gonna have to put that by each pick so people understand what specifically has transpired here.
His fingerprints are on what?
Dude, like there's at least 3 or dude, there's at least 4 guys, maybe even 5. You like, I just can't get behind Hamilton being over right now. I mean, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it, man. But
But Chase, I like the Chase pick. I think he should be.
Chase at 7.
I think he's
I
really
mean-
6.
Yeah, we interchangeable in terms of like draft order, I suppose. But like Hamilton was the guy I was more excited about, I guess.
Yeah,
But I mean, yeah, Chase is incredible. I've said before, I think he's the best in the NFL at 2 things, and that's being like just an insane deep threat, as well as being just the most dangerous after the catch threat at wide receiver. And to have a guy who can just access both of those for you as one individual, it completely changes your offense. So yeah, I think he's an easy pick. I think there's a case to be made that he is better than Jefferson, but
Sure.
I think either of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, you see Chase catch like a dig and then break 15 tackles and score. Like Jefferson can't do that.
No.
And Chase scores so many touchdowns like outside of the red zone. Like he can just change the game in an instant. And it's so valuable. I mean, the reason I'm tiptoeing around the like, would you rather have Chase or QB4 type talk is like, well, the Bengals didn't turn around until Chase showed up. They had Burrow as a rookie, and Burrow really kind of struggled until, Chase and
His
Chase
best
was
friend got
right.
there, man.
Right. And then all of a sudden Burrow is the most dangerous quarterback and offense is super dangerous. But, Chase has been the best the whole time. And look, I don't know, because Burrow's great.
I mean,
Burrow's been the best since then, too. Like, we're literally only talking about the rookie year here for Burrow, that he was any kind of like mid at all. But that was true. They didn't hit any deep shots. Like, it was all kind of underneath. Their offense wasn't that good when Burrow was a rookie, but then Chase shows up, bang. So Burrow has improved a lot too, and Burrow has gotten like substantially more dangerous. So the speculation might just be that, but Chase is a very valid number 6. I'm convinced if he entered an average situation, they'd become like if he went to the Cardinals, if he went to the Falcons, like all of a sudden an average team would become really, really, really good.
Yeah, I can get down with that. That makes it my pick. To me, this is kind of a really difficult.
I think this is Theo's pick.
Oh, my fault.
Right.
My fault.
I'm going to take Micah. I'm going to take Micah Parsons.
There you go.
The holdout himself. This is why it's a big deal that he's holding out, is because he's the 7th best player. And along with, I think him and Garrett are the 2 physical freaks in this league that just beat you instantaneously. Like, you just can't stay in front of them. Garrett's probably a little bit of a better run defender than Parsons is, but as pass rushers, I think they're similar. And Parsons is so quick, but he's also got crazy speed to power because his get off is so good. Like, he really converts that into power right down your frame and can knock you back with the best of them as well. Just a pressure machine, and again, someone that you can design your entire defense around is just let's find the matchup for Parsons. Let's stun Parsons. Let's, blitz and put Parsons on the edge and see how they handle it and see how many guys we can get unblocked. He's a portable defense. He's a one man army.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mike is great. It's a little bit higher than I would have picked him, to be honest with you. But yeah, he does the same type of thing as Garrett, where his quick pressure makes it really easy or easier for the Cowboys to generate a bunch of turnovers and negative plays, and it makes a defense that otherwise would stink, workable to the point where they can get to the playoffs, right? It's happened several times. And yeah, the Cowboys not wanting to pay him is crazy talk.
What's your pick then?
My pick, I don't know. It's really difficult. There's 3 guys here who I think stand out to me, but I'm going to go ahead and give the nod first to Saquon Barkley. He is coming off of legitimately one of the best running back seasons ever, statistically at least. Certainly, he is in about as good a situation as you possibly could be, right? In the sense that he's got this quarterback who's a rushing threat and the stacked offensive line and just a passing game that's got these great receivers. So it's really, really difficult, but he still was absolutely dominant in terms of, being fast enough to break off huge runs when they needed to and strong enough to power through. There's no asset of his game that isn't totally on lock right now. He was one of the most hyped running back prospects ever, and he's finally in a situation that matches that, and the season matches all of that as well. Plus, he had an awesome playoffs. Plus, he had one of the coolest highlights, maybe the coolest highlight of the season. And they won the ring, and defenses had to stress themselves out so much to get downhill and to stop it. And to be fair, we've seen other running backs in the system not do what Saquon did. They were still good, but not do what Saquon did. So I think even down here, it's a little low for him, but
yeah,
you gotta respect the year.
Other running backs have done well in the system, but other running backs also had Jason Kelsey. I mean, that guy retired as a really good center, and it was not even noticeable. Like Saquon picked up all the slack, and I do believe that there was more slack than people even realized because Saquon was just so good. Hit so many how many 60-yard touchdowns did he had? He had more than anybody else. Just big time highlights. So game after game, he was the dagger. It was wild.
Yeah. And you've got another pick here, Matt.
This one's a little tough, but I think I'm going to lean Lane Johnson. Lane was asked to do as much as basically any tackle, and it was as successful as any other tackle. He's the best pass blocker in the entire NFL, and I think he's a legendary player in this era. I know he only got second-team All-Pro. I think that's going to be rectified next year. I think if he plays anything like he did this season, he will win Protector of the Year. I totally agree they're going to give him the Lifetime Achievement nod, and he absolutely deserves it. Having somebody like him is freaky valuable, and there's just not many who do it anything like him. He is in the top right of most offensive tackle graphics for good reason. So I really considered Pat Surtain here. He is coming off of a depoy, but to be honest, I think if Lane's position had a winnable award like that as well, he would also be coming off of a Protector of the Year or an offensive whatever you want to make it, right? So I don't want to be biased towards just one guy having an award to win and the other guy not. I think you could go either way. I could even understand Surtain over maybe Saquon, right? He really is a great corner coming off of a great year who's been good for a long, long time. But I leaned Lane here.
Yeah, that play against Chris Jones and Karlaftis in the Super Bowl, he had no chip help, and they didn't slide his way. So that makes it 2-on-2, right? It was Chris Jones and Karlaftis on Becton and Lane. And Lane gave he gave the guard a little bit of help on Chris Jones. It was just like his hand and lending a little bit of body presence. He let Karlaftis get the jump on him, and then he set and he shut down Karlaftis. I'm like, not only is he not receiving help, he's taking on assignments that are like impossible. Like that's not something that I've seen really before. Like even though it was just a simple kind of hand, in a one-on-one situation to not get right out into your jump set against in the Super Bowl against a guy like Karlaftis is just ridiculous. He again, a one-man army on an offensive line. The rest of your pass protection plan can flow around Lane Johnson because like he's going to get the block done one-on-one. I am up and I'm going to take Dexter Lawrence, who did not win Depoy. So maybe it's surprising to have him go above Surtain. But I think in the same way Lane Johnson can't win an award, Dexter Lawrence has a very uphill battle, the type of player that he is, which is a nose. He's there to eat up double teams. He's there to stuff the run. Grover Stewart is so good at what he does, and he ends with like no production, right? Dexter Lawrence is that type of player, except he also had 8 sacks. He's also extremely, in some cases, impossible to block one-on-one because he's just such a mismatch. He had 9 sacks, excuse me. So I think to be the type of nose that he is, while still providing a little bit of pass rush value, he's a bit of a unicorn, and I can't really think of him. And like Kyle Hamilton, I think also qualifies as this Blaiden legitimately just kind of like unicorns at their position just because of their size and their build.
Yeah.
While combining it with everything else that would make a normal human being or normal football player body.
Did you have him over Chris Jones as your defensive tackle 1, or did you kind of gain a new perspective?
I put him over Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's wrong, but
Yeah,
Lawrence is I plan this. I have a list in front of me, and Lawrence is ahead of Jones. I just think Lawrence is crazy unique.
No, I feel you. I don't know if I would have taken him over Surtain, but I see the vision.
Yeah, I am going to take Surtain here with my pick. I mean, he's the defensive player of the year, and I think I mentioned this during our top 10 cornerbacks episode, and I saw someone else posted on Twitter, just his ability to cover multiple routes at the same time in like a cloud coverage is just, it's unmatched. I don't know anyone else that kind of has that type of range and like eyes in the back of his head to be like, oh yeah, there's a corner route behind me. I'm going to sit on this hitch. And then as soon as the quarterback throws it behind me, I'm going to release, open up my hips and be able to jump up and make a play on it. I don't know of any other corners in the league right now that operate like that. So I think he's easily the pick here and best corner in the NFL. Deserved defensive player of the year. I know we're saying like Garrett could have won it. Sure. Dex maybe could have won it also if he was playing a different position.
Not if he was playing a different position, but if
people cared more about
his value does not always appear on box scores.
Yes.
As the most doubled player in the league. That's right. All.
And then I've got the next pick here. And I think I am going to make this Joe Burrow. He's fallen at this point. And I go back and forth on, Burrow versus Herbert. And I think it's like a worthy debate. But if we're going off like the season that Joe Burrow just had, yes, they're in a lot of games where they're having to put up a lot of points. But it's to his credit that he's able to go out there and execute that behind still not a very good offensive line. Like he's still having to make a lot of plays himself. And I think this year especially, like you saw him really like put his body on the line. And there's obviously the major highlight of him like diving forwards and throwing just like an insane.
He did that several times this year. He had several of that exact same throw where he's literally like lunging forward and throwing with his knees right off the turf and completing. Like from a creation standpoint, he was.
It's the most impressive.
Unreal.
It's the most impressive Joe Burrow season we've seen. I think pretty easily. So I think, I think the MVP calls for him weren't unjustified given the level of execution that the level of performance that he was putting on this year. And so that'll make him my pick here at 13.
Yeah. The Packers played their televised family night practice recently, and Jordan Love was all right. But because he was fine. He was whatever. All the clips of him get posted on Twitter, every throw that he had. And then, he missed his deep shot. Carrington Valentine had a nice pick in the practice. So then it's obviously a bunch of slander in the quote tweets, right? I'm not concerned about it whatsoever because literally the offense is nothing like the Green Bay Packers offense. There's no motion. There's no play action. It's vertical setting from the tackles every time. It's pretty vanilla, West Coast, basic route concepts. And then I'm do you know what offense this kind of looks like? This family night offense where things are very difficult for the quarterback. It kind of looks like what Joe Burrow lives in. So yeah, he does have Chase, and Chase obviously helps him a lot, and so does Higgins. But Burrow has had to overcome a lot in his career, and got to the Super Bowl with offensive linemen that were terrible. What was the Ohio State guy they had, Matt?
Isaiah Prince. Prince used to get false starts at OSU and drive my dad nuts. I could not believe that they were starting him in the Super Bowl. And it's something I remember, but I forgot I remembered. And we were talking about it the other day. It's crazy.
Isaiah Prince,
absolutely.
Isaiah Prince has played has appeared in 3 games and has accumulated 0 AV on Pro Football Network since the Super Bowl. So he hasn't done much since they started him in that game, and he's basically been out of the league since.
Yeah, he had a rough go of it. I think this is a little too high for Burrow personally. I think there's a couple of other guys who are kind of solidly best at their position.
I think that's
that I would have taken over him, but I understand where you're coming from. Burrow's a beast, and he would have been in my top 30, so I don't have an issue with it.
I also think it's high, but I want it to be nice to Burrow. Just get the sound.
Stay hot could be a little mean to Burrow sometimes.
Well, you and me are different. I'm saying it in sort of an honorable. What about the positions that aren't quarterback? And you're saying it more of quarterback is the only position that matters, and Joe Burrow is terrible. And
No.
These are two very different things.
I'm saying it in that Mahomes, Jackson, and Allen impact winning differently than every other player in the league, and Burrow is more amongst the just rest of the top 25.
The commoners.
Mm-hmm. He's amongst the Nick Bosas and the Max Crosbys of the world.
All right, Theo, you're on the clock with the 14th pick. Who are you taking?
I'll go Fred Warner.
My next pick.
Probably the top linebacker, and as close to a consensus as you could get is Fred Warner being the top linebacker. So I'll go with him.
Yeah, he's got crazy range that makes it as hard to throw over the middle of the field as basically any other player, and he's done it for a long, long time. I think he's easily linebacker 1. Maybe Bond is challenging him for that, but we got to see it another year.
Oh my God,
getting up to these heights.
I want to actually bring this up. I don't think we're actually going to need to have a discussion about it, but Matt, I know you saw it. Zach Bond was rated lower than Bobby Wagner in Madden.
I did see that. The Bobby Wagner, it's mostly, I get they're being slow with Bond. I understand doing that in general, but Bond was so good last year. I think he almost transcends that on some level. And Wagner being over him is just crazy.
Wagner
it's just nuts.
Wagner is a pure plugger. There's one gap that he can plug, but beyond that, things get really difficult for him. And even as a run defender, he's not the best run defender, even though he's really good at plugging gaps, because he's not athletic enough at this point to really take on contact and shed it and tackle in as fluid a motion as Warner and Bond and several other linebackers across the league can.
Yeah. I mean, he literally got, I mean, it was what was the first play of the NFC Championship game where the Eagles go that wide zone, and the reason why this play breaks off is because Bobby Wagner gets like caught up and like isn't fast enough to track Saquon
Yeah.
down the line of scrimmage, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
everyone else gets like lagged behind him, and it's a 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
I feel you. I'm going to go Chris Jones next. I think he has fallen pretty far if we got some fellas drafting off of value in terms of being one of the dominant pass rushers of his position, certainly. There's just not many defensive tackles who have a bag as full as Chris Jones is, who have been as consistent for as long as he has, and who have made big plays in big-time moments, if that matters to you. He's been the leader of a defense that has won multiple Super Bowls, of course. It's hard to have him much lower than here. I had him ranked, I think, as defensive tackle 1, if I remember correctly. And him going here seems, if anything, maybe a little low. The next, I do get the turn.
Yeah,
So Jones was pick 15, and then I'm getting pick 16.
Yeah.
I'm going to go George Kittle here. There's a couple of other guys you could consider, but Kittle, in terms of like being a down the field threat and after the catch threat and a blocking threat, is unmatched by any other tight end in the NFL. That's the truth. And truly, he is like a top tier guy at each one of those aspects of the game, right? And those are the kind of the big 3 things you're looking for when you've got a tight end. He doesn't put up crazy numbers because he doesn't get to run enough routes. He's too dang good at blocking. So he's probably not ever going to be the number 1 pick in fantasy at tight end, even though he can finish as fantasy tight end 1, of course. But in other worlds, I think he could go for 1,400 yards or whatever. Kelsey's still better all time. Don't get it twisted. Go Bearcats, but I'm giving Kittle the nod here.
Nice.
I like it. Well, I am going to take A.J. Brown. Follow the winds with A.J. Brown, man. I mean, going back to when he was on the Titans, like they draft him and all of a sudden the offense spikes up. They have winning records. They're, first in the division. I think they were the 1 seed with him there. That must have had, there's no way they were the 1 seed without him. That was in 2022. Then he goes to the Eagles, and the Eagles average 30 points a game in the games that he plays in, and they average 16 points a game in the 5 that he has missed. I mean, the disaster playoff game in Tampa Bay happened because A.J. Brown was out. Like, it just would not have gone down like that if he was in there. Their down stretch at the beginning of this year, it straight up just happened because A.J. Brown was off. Like, people, like, they were knocking rust off at the beginning of the year, Well, they didn't look rusty week 1 against the Packers when A.J. Brown had 160 yards and a touchdown or whatever he had. Like, they put up 30 on a defense that ended up being pretty damn good because no one could cover A.J. Brown. So wherever he goes, like, winning seems to follow, and quarterbacks seem to spike and become these darling. Like, Tannehill was the analytics darling back when A.J. Brown was around, and now Jalen Hurts isn't the analytics darling, but he is a darling to some because he won the Super Bowl, and a large reason why they won the Super Bowl is because they got A.J.
great
Brown.
Receiver.
So A.J. Brown has his fingerprints on a lot, so I'm going to take him.
Yeah, he's outstanding, man. I need to take, I think the last consensus best player on the board here, which is Tyler Linderbaum.
Not consensus. That's a hot take.
Was he not?
He's saying he was
our consensus.
Yeah.
Linderbaum.
Oh, our consensus best interior offensive lineman, which it wasn't quite unanimous. Humphrey is definitely up there, and Miners is obviously great as well as an interior player. But I mean, Linderbaum has been a very focal point of, like, outside of Lamar Jackson, outside of obviously Derrick Henry, but great Ravens rushing attack. He's been great in pass protection, doesn't allow any sacks, basically. Very disciplined, doesn't take a lot of penalties. He's just such a consistently good piece for that Ravens offensive line. And I think, when I'm looking at the best players on that offense, he's definitely, I think, at worst he's third, but I mean I did pick him over Derrick Henry. So
Yeah, Linderbaum is really, really good. I think he is a key just scheme piece with how much they can just pull him, get him out in space. And I think his high end blocks are just so good. Like his best cut up is better than Creed Humphreys. It's better than anybody else. Since we recorded the interior offensive lineman episode, I'm thinking maybe ranking Linderbaum over Creed was a mistake because Linderbaum isn't as consistent in pass protection, and that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah,
but he's crucial, and I think he's a total beast.
He is a total. I mean, Iowa product. He's been. Yeah. I mean, he's had a pretty great career as an offensive lineman so far, going back to college.
This is a little high for me as well, and for the record, also AJ Brown was my wide receiver 4, not 3. But I think Linderbaum is in the range of being a top 30 player. I can see the vision.
So I'm guessing your next wide receiver taken would have been Lamb.
We'll have to see. Maybe I'll select them.
We'll have to see. I guess we will. I am going to take Derrick Henry next. I'll take another Raven here. My team is just all Ravens.
All Ravens.
It's all Ravens except for the quarterback. Derrick Henry is just. I mean, there aren't any other running backs that have. We talk about longevity. No one has the amount of tread off their tires that Derrick Henry does, and to still be playing at a high level. He's a guy who's going to be trying to go on some sort of GOAT case trajectory. Obviously, going after the rushing yard record is going to be another damn near impossible one. But I mean, for him to be as good as he was last year in, I mean, what was it, his age 30 season? It's about as impressive as it gets. Very strong case for Offensive Player of the Year if Saquon didn't have also a generational season. So I think you got to keep giving Derrick Henry his flowers until he proves you otherwise.
Yeah, it's too big. The stiff arm is completely deadly. And he's got the typewriter feet still. Like, he's just crazy agile, sidestepping blocks. And
I've never heard that
continuing to, just tapping the ground like oh so lightly. And he's just this monster. Like, how is it possible that he's so nimble at this age, at that size?
I love Derrick Henry. He's one of the best. Like, he says, just a star. Everyone likes him. His play style is so cool. And his story rocks. He has one of the best stories in the entire NFL, where like he's got these hilarious stats in high school. Then he's a beast in college for Alabama, like, of course. And he gets to the NFL, like, he's all right. And then he gets told, bro, you have to be a beast. You're not being a beast. Snap out. And then, and then, was it Earl Campbell or was it Eddie George?
Ooh, I think it was Eddie George. You're right. Eddie George told him to just start running everybody over. And that's what he was doing.
So then an old team legend comes to him and tells him, bro, you have to start killing guys on the field immediately. And then he turns into like a surefire Hall of Famer, which he is now.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's awesome. So
do you think he will end up being first ballot when he retires?
First ballot, I think he's got a pretty good shot at it, man. The thing about running backs in the Hall of Fame is there's a lot of guys who reach that top end level more than you would think.
Yeah.
Because it's running back, many of them flame out quickly. Jamal Charles, Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott. I'm sure you can name some. Gurley, Gurley's another really good one. The issue is that, like, okay, can you do it for a long time? Henry is starting to get to the point where he's got like crazy longevity. I don't know where his all-time stats end up. I don't know how many career rushing yards he has right now.
He's 19th on the all-time list.
So he's still going. I mean, he's 19th on the all-time list. He put 1,900 yards up. Whether or not he sticks around long enough to like churn all the way to, I don't know, Frank Gore level, to me doesn't really matter. He's already cemented himself as one of the longest life running backs in terms of truly being a game changer. I mean, we've got him in our top 30 list here, and he's 30 years old. That's just rare for a guy like him. Mm-hmm. And his peak is like I was the guy on, a number 1 seed right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's got a real good shot at being a first ballot Hall of
He's
Fame.
led the league in yards twice, led the league in touchdowns 3 times. He's played for 9 seasons, 11,000 career total yards, 106 touchdowns.
I think who's going to vote against Derrick Henry, man? And it's not just the NFL thing. He's just like, obviously for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you should just be focusing on pro football. But the fact that he had all those yards in high school
College should count.
and then won the Heisman and then got to the league and did what he did. I mean, from an overall body of work standpoint, like his football career is almost Mount Rushmore. And could he have a Walter Payton type back end of his career? I mean, he's already looking like it at age 30. Walter Payton at age 31 had 1,600 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns. Age 32, 1,500, 9 touchdowns. Age 33, 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. So he still had plenty of juice left in the tank. Like, could Derrick Henry play like that for the next few years or longer? I'm never willing to write him off. He's the Tom Brady.
I'll say this: if he goes for close to 2,000 yards again next year, which is a hell of a bar, you have to start having the conversation of, are we in all-time rushing yard?
I think we could get there with Henry.
What's
the record?
Do it. It's probably 18 and a half. So you need another 7K. If he needed 5 more K and he was a beast at 31 years old, and it's Derrick, and here's the thing, he would have to be like, I'm going until a team won't play me, until a team won't run me. But like, could he be like a change of pace, short yardage guy at, I don't know, 35? I'm not saying anything or making any predictions or making a point at all, but
that is usually
I mean, Emmitt Smith played for 15 years, and in his final 3 seasons, he went 975, 256, 937.
Yeah, you need those last couple of years where it's like either you have to find the team that's like, you can have 3.2 rushing yards on 200 carries. We don't care. Like that's what Frank Gore did. Right. Or you need to at least be like sort of a change of pace guy. It's not unthinkable. But you're really banking on like him being this big physical guy actually helps him stay in a play style that can be effective. That's a lot of it. And then you have to kind of bank on like his situation with Lamar is so good. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Mm-hmm. It's not unthinkable.
Emmitt Smith also had 2,000 more attempts than Derrick Henry did. And
he never played with Lamar.
He never played with Lamar. So like, but I'm just like, man, is he going to need like 2,000 attempts? Because the older you get, the harder it's going to get, I imagine.
Oh, certainly. Well, that's what helped. Emmitt Smith did it the hard way, though. He didn't average over 4.2 yards a carry past his age 26 season. Like he saw his last All-Pro at 26 years old, and then, I mean, and to be fair, like he had like a 1,400 yard season or whatever. Like he had good seasons after that, but.
Dude, he had 21 and 25 touchdowns in back-to-back seasons.
How many?
That's crazy.
Oh, you know what Derrick Henry is going to set the record for, well, I don't want to say is. I thought it was closer. He's less than 60 touchdowns off that. He could also.
The touchdown record, I think, is easier. I think it is easier.
I agree. I think it's easier. You're less than 60 off. He should definitely get like 15 more next season. If he commits to it, he could push for these records, absolutely.
59,
or at least push himself in the top 3, and then for sure
he could get into top 5 for sure. I mean, he's not that far off from like where Adrian Peterson was at this age, and Adrian Peterson is now 5th. So can he get to like 5th? I think that's a pretty sick thing. Anyway, you're up next, Theo. I'll take Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, that would have been my next pick.
Yeah. Injury notwithstanding, he'll begin the year on the PUP list. But outside of that, he like I said in our past Protector of the Year predictions, he was the best offensive lineman on the best offensive line last year, I'd say. When you look at how many rushing yards per attempt they got without like that quarterback bonus of Jaden and Lamar and Kyler and those guys, they were up by 5 yards per attempt. And then they also had the lowest pressure rate allowed in like straight drop back situations and in passing down situations like third down, they really gave Baker great protection. And that all starts with Tristan Wirfs, who, like Lane Johnson, can kind of do the handle two guys at once type deal because he's so big and so athletic. He's so good on the move. Like he just excels at absolutely everything. He's heavy.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree.
Banger player. You're up, Matt.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I keep thinking that you have the turn and I don't. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take TJ Watt here. I know he's coming off a little bit of a down year, but he is one of the best playmakers still in the NFL to me. His ability to dip around and make plays, getting to the quarterback about as quick as anybody is incredibly impressive. And he's one of the biggest run stoppers in the NFL, or maybe I say one of the best run defenders in the NFL. Teams hate running towards him. It's true that maybe he's not as physically dominant as Micah or Garrett, but he is one of the better play finishers, and I do think there's value in that. When you see the consistency of him being able to like complete plays and actually get guys on the grounds, or being able to bat balls, or whatever needs to happen, I think his legacy will be that he is what's kept the Steelers defense afloat. Albeit there's some other very good players. There's another guy I'm considering for the top 30 certainly, but even coming off a down year, I think we've more than discounted him for that. And I guess there's other guys coming off down years that we're like, we're giving him a little bit more of a pass. Watt, I can understand being relatively worried about, and I'm interested to see how that the contract plays out. But I'm not ready to take him off of this list at all.
Yeah, I think he's definitely the best run defender in football still. So like, that would have been my next pick is Watt.
Yeah, it's crazy that he has 33 forced fumbles in his career, 12 fumbles recovered, and 7 interceptions. Like, just the auxiliary ways that you wouldn't expect a defensive lineman to, I guess, force fumbles you would, but like that amount of them is just crazy. He has 49 passes defensed in his career. Can that even be right? I had to go scroll to make sure ridiculous. That I was looking at TJ Watt.
It's ridiculous. I mean, the number of times where he'll be like, it's clear that his assignment is to rush the passer, and then he'll just kind of like fall back. He'll just be like, I'm not getting there. I'll just wait for him to come back to me. And then sure enough, he ends up, and people will be like, oh, just clean up sacks. But it's like, is it really a cleanup sack if he's always in the right place?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's harder than it looks to say, I don't think I'm going to win this rep. I'm going to go to where the quarterback is about to be and then meet him there. Like, and that amount of batted passes is just ridiculous. So like, I'm not going to get there. I'm just going to swat the ball out of his hands. Like, it just is crazy.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy. So
it's crazy.
We'll see. I think that Watt could benefit from not lining up in the same spot over and over again and like hunting mismatches, because Pittsburgh never ever does that for him. Like, that could easily boost his numbers up from where they were at last year.
For sure. And then Matt, you've got the swing here.
I do, and I'm going to go with another guy who's coming off of a down year, but we love him anyway. We don't care anyway. We think he's the GOAT anyway, and that's going to be Sauce Gardner. Yes. One of the best press corners in the NFL, maybe the best straight up. A true lockdown guy, super fluid mover, super long arms, really good at making plays on the ball when it's in the air, reaching around guys and batting it away. It's true that, the Jets defense struggled, and he was part of that, and we talked about that previously, so I don't know if we need to go all over it again. You can check out the cornerback episode if you want to hear about it, but he was first team All-Pro first 2 seasons in his career, and he was awesome his last couple of years in college, to the point where like he was one of the most dominant corners I've seen, at least, playing in the AAC. So it's hard for me to leave him off this list. I think he very well could reclaim his spot, although I don't know, maybe being on a defense that's better makes your life a little bit easier, means Surtain will have better numbers. And I understand Surtain is one. I had him as one, so.
Yeah. I mean,
it's very honorable for that, Matt. Very noble.
Yeah.
I can't stress enough how unimpactful Michael Clemens and even Will McDonald were as edge rushers for the Jets. Like Will McDonald
Mhm.
had a lot of sacks, but on like a down-to-down basis, getting pressure, affecting the run, like honestly winning, like Will McDonald did not do that much, and neither did Clemens, and neither did Kinlaw, and neither did a lot of players on that Jets.
You're naming a lot of really bad pass rushers.
Well, some of those are hot takes. I think people don't quite realize how bad that Jets front was last year, and that had a lot
Kinlaw
of
should not
effect
be a
on
hot.
Kinlaw. I mean, he just got paid a bunch of money by Washington. So.
I mean, how much did he get again? Not to
he got paid like
$45
$45 million or something from Washington.
over 3. Yeah,
They should have just given
It's
that.
a little high for someone.
They should have given that
was
to
part
Stay
of the
Hot.
problem last year. Yeah, he had a down year, but so did DJ Reed. He had a career high in PIs. He didn't have any interceptions. Like, it's just hard for a corner to survive in that environment.
Yep.
I am going to take Creed Humphrey now.
Yeah.
Just a rock in pass protection, and also somebody who's got more than a few tricks up his sleeve in the run game and in the screen game specifically. Oh my God. Andy Reid dials up some crazy trick plays that involve, not trick plays, but, gadgety plays. And they really require Creed Humphrey to move a lot. And he does move a lot. And he makes blocks downfield with the best of them as well. So I'll take him here and throw it to you.
I like that pick.
He'll throw it to me, and Brian Branch is going to pick it off because he's my next player here.
I think that's fair.
At pick 24. We talk about guys who are just absolute utility pieces, like we did with Hamilton. Brian Branch is the same way. I think the thing that separates Hamilton is definitely the reaction time and like seeing the game at a completely different speed. But Branch is like as physical as anyone in the league. Like
The way he knifes downhill is awesome. He's also another guy where he's one of my favorites. I love watching him.
Yeah.
he's so fun. He is.
He
so
can play
fun.
press.
Yep.
He's zone. Yeah.
Great ball skills.
Safety, nickel,
yeah.
blitzing, fitting the run, tackling. Like he does everything.
That's a great archetype of player. Him.
Oh yeah.
I think Witherspoon's in there. That's a great archetype of player. Those dudes rock.
Yeah.
Andrew Phillips on the Giants is kind of becoming that. Yeah, it rules.
Oh yeah.
Baller ass nickel. Need it. Nate Hobbs, baby. Come on now.
Nate Hobbs.
Oh, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Oh, I'm not.
Take him.
No.
No.
Well, I guess I'll take our boy here, Mr. Not His Fault himself, Justin Herbert. Herbie. Look, the numbers aren't going to be good until his receivers are good. Like that's just the reality. But the truth with Justin Herbert, as everyone knows, is his arm is just ridiculous. Like he's got the same talent profile as Josh Allen. He's got some really beautiful, accurate throws. He's the best still at layering those whole shots against cover 2. He's just, if we can just get him some damn receivers outside of Ladd, like Ladd's great. Outside of Ladd's great. We need Trey Harris to be good. We need probably one more guy. Keenan Allen's back, so maybe that'll be good. But I remember
DeAndre Lambert Smith. Bro.
Keenan Allen at one point was complaining that Justin Herbert threw the ball too hard. So maybe he's not.
Put some touch on it.
Put some touch on it. That is probably his biggest flaw. Still is,
I just looked up Justin Herbert, and the top headline on Google is Jim Harbaugh confirms awful Chargers plan that puts Justin Herbert in danger. So that's all you need to say. That his coach is dialing up the disaster plan, according to these headlines.
Harbaugh confident they can get Herbert sacked 20 to 30 more times.
That's what they're planning. Confirms awful Chargers plan that puts Justin Herbert in danger.
We can get this interception number to double, and they'll all look like it's on him. We're really excited about this season.
They're talking about the offensive line. Something. I don't know.
Theo, make your next pick, because I have a point I want to make about the Herbert pick, but I want to see who you select before I say anything.
Okay.
I am going to take Nick Bosa.
Okay.
Who I think that he doesn't get talked about that much these days, I feel like, but he was somebody who was getting it done kind of by himself last year. I mean, that 49ers front four last year was bad outside of him. It was like him and like Yetur Gross-Matos and like Leonard Floyd and like Hargrave for some of it, and just a mid defensive tackle rotation in general. So a lot of attention could be paid to Nick Bosa, and it's hard to get sacks without kind of a Robin to your Batman, right? But he still did it. He had an amazing game against the Lions. He beat Penei Sewell. He's still a really, really good bender, fluid mover, get off, like the strength. Like really, he does remind me of Myles Garrett when you watch him. Like he's that jacked, he's that explosive. He's got all those hand fighting moves. He's that fluid kind of bounding to foot to foot. He doesn't have the same type of production over the last couple years, and I don't think he's as good. But it's not really a big gap, and he's easily a top 25 player to me, top 20. That's what I have.
Now, what's that's fair. I would have had him on my list. There is no way Justin Herbert is better than CeeDee Lamb. I think that is wild. Want to talk about impact? Like, yeah, sure. But, you were making a point about A.J. Brown, Theo, where you're like, you take him off the team and look what happens. What do we think would have happened if CeeDee Lamb was not on the Cowboys last year? Or any year, this year? How do you think they would be without CeeDee? It would be a disaster immediately, of course. And we haven't seen that yet, and for an extended period of time at least. But yeah. CeeDee to me is every bit as valuable as anybody else. And the only reason why, maybe why we don't think about it as much is because we kind of assume the Cowboys are just going to crash a little bit more. Whereas the Eagles, it's like losing AJ Brown ends up being the difference between being competitive in the playoffs or not. Whereas the Cowboys, Dak is already out and the defense is struggling. Yeah. So, and CeeDee is already getting quadruple teamed because there's no other receivers. So it's all messed up anyway. But
I do think to some extent that is sort of the thing with being like, well, what would the Cowboys look like without CeeDee? Well, I mean, there's no one else, or at least there hasn't been anyone else. So that kind of isn't the same as losing AJ Brown, but no, I see what you're saying with Lamb, and I think that's close, but I might still take him.
I don't know. I just think he's one of the best outside route runners in the entire NFL. He can deal with press really well, and he's great after the catch. He's a super complete number one receiver. He's really, really spectacularly good. Offensive player of the year caliber type seasons all the time. He is definitely a top 30 player to me. And I think outside of positional value, I guess that I wouldn't put Lamb in the tier 1 with Chase and Jefferson, but I do think Lamb as a receiver is better than Herbert as a quarterback.
I mean, I can get that. I mean, Lamb also has the freakish out of his frame catches.
So do you think, Matt, if you could add one of these players to the Falcons, let's say, CeeDee Lamb or Justin
Why are the
Herbert?
Falcons?
That's because they're an average team. They're an average team. I understand what you're saying. That is positional value, though. I would take Herbert because he's a quarterback, not because he's a better player straight up than CeeDee.
I'm just not sure. That's I'm not sure if that's how it would go down.
If you were to put Justin Herbert and CeeDee Lamb into separate juicers and juiced out how good of players they were, which glass would fill up?
CeeDee's glass would be full. That's a great point. That's what I've been trying to say.
CeeDee's glass would be to the tippy top, and Herbert's would be
Herbert's would be full. CeeDee's would be counting on surface tension not to spill over.
This is so true. Matt, who's your next pick?
My next pick, this is
your last
29, pick. I believe, right? So this is my last pick. I'm about to get struck by a thunderstorm. It is pouring rain outside. Really? I'm going to go with Zach Bond here. I'm giving him ultimate respect after the one season. I really do think he is that good. His ability to get downhill is among the best of any linebacker in the NFL. His range is also super crazy. He can cover well. I mean, that to me is the 1-2 punch of what makes a linebacker awesome, right? And God, when you think about the linebackers in the NFL who can really, truly do both of those things, I mean, you don't need two hands to count them. Like, really, truly do them at a high level, you don't. So, Howie Roseman is a big positional value guy to an extent. And even he, after watching Bond play, is like, I'm just paying him. I'm just giving him top dollar and doing that. And then he went and picked a linebacker in round 1. He has seen the light, and I have too. Plus, you know, I feel like I've said this a million times, but when I was growing up, my good old Carolina Panthers had awesome linebackers, and it was awesome. So I like to see off-ball linebackers respected, and we will do so on this list. I got
We have done
0.9.
We
We have.
So, Theo, this is your last pick here.
My
And I have
last
one
pick,
more.
I'm debating between Sewell and Trent Williams.
Ooh.
I'm gonna take Sewell just because Williams is old and got hurt last year. I think they're both extremely good. I don't think I gave Trent Williams enough respect on our tackle episode, honestly. Obviously, going forward, there's some questions about him, but man, there were some games last year where he still was completely dominant as a run blocker, and his punch and general pass protection acumen is still really good. But Sewell is in the peak of his powers right now. He doesn't have the same durability concerns to me, and he's probably even a better run defender than Trent Williams is right now. Like, free-flowing athlete, almost looking like a skill position player out there when he gets in space. The combo of him and Gibbs, I think, is really, when you get deep down into like what is best about the Lions, like that
Absolutely.
combo
Yep.
is the bedrock. And
I maybe should have gone Sewell over Bond. I think both of them are good around here, but that's a good pick in my opinion.
yippee!
So then I am finishing things off here, and I'm also kind of struggling to pick between a couple players here. I'm a huge Mulata fan. That's a guy I would love to take here, and I think is deserving of being a top 30 player. Also thinking about Derek Stingley, just super productive on the ball, but he also gives up a fair number of big plays himself. And then I'm thinking about my big dog Jordan Brooks, who I think is just a freakish linebacker. But I think that would be a hot take to put Jordan Brooks.
Jordan Brooks, the executives didn't give Jordan Brooks a top 10 linebacker nod, which is crazy.
That's
That's crazy.
insane.
Yes.
That is absolutely insane. Or I'm thinking about Brock Bowers, who is arguably the best tight end in the NFL coming off of his rookie season. But I think, and I don't know, is it too much of a positional value thing to be like, no, I've got to pick Stingley, but he is just so productive on the ball. His ball skills are out of this world. He went step for step with Tyreek Hill, and I mean he's part of one of the best defenses in the NFL, and he's won them, like basically won them games by himself, I feel like. So I do think I'm going to take Derek Stingley, even though, like I mentioned, Bowers is great. I didn't even mention Max Crosby. I think could have had some play there. Mulata, Jordan Brooks are all guys who I think are deserving of that spot, but I'll take Derek Stingley.
I think that's fair. I would show you guys the rain coming down outside.
Dude, it is
my
like
house by
sunny.
flipping the
It's like
camera.
bright and sunny out. It's 85 degrees here.
It's coming,
It's almost like
brother.
you live in different.
We
different
live in
areas.
different
We don't
states.
live that far from each other.
2 hours is
2 hours is
like
clouds aren't that.
if it was like 30 minutes, you'd be like, wow, it's like literally nothing over here. It'd be okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but okay.
2 hours.
It is not supposed to rain in Columbus until Tuesday, like next Tuesday.
Okay, well then the cloud just isn't passing by that. That's really not that hard to believe. That's like
it's
over
like-
100 miles.
It could be going in different directions. Like maybe it's going east
Right.
and west. And don't you live north and south? Weather doesn't tend to go north and south.
I live northeast of good old Matthew Spot.
I'm triangulating your exact position based on the information you just told me, by the way. I'm finding you in docs. Everybody can dox you now that we know that the weather patterns aren't moving by your house and you live
I literally just said I'm in Columbus.
northeast.
So-
And you live in Columbus. Oh, it's over for you.
Yeah, man.
People can already triangulate my location. One time, Theo, you brought up on the podcast a park that's kind of close to my house, and I got like 4 DMs being like, "Hey, bro, just a heads up. Do you know that Theo like kind of doxed you on the last episode?" And the thing is that the park. Maybe I shouldn't reveal anything. The park is really not that close to my house anyway. So it's not. I mean, like, what is it?
If someone worked hard,
What is anybody going to do? Even if they did, everybody's nobody will do anything at all.
They're sending a hitman after a sports podcaster.
I guess I'll probably just knock on my door and say, "What's up?"
It'll be all the Steelers fans that were complaining when I posted the someone in the Stay Hot group chat made that graphic that showed all of the top 10 players at each position broken down by team. And the Steelers were really low, and they're like, "How did this happen?" And it's like, well, they have a lot of guys who are sort of fringe players, and then they're also thinking that like Ramsey's a top 10 player at corner.
I'm not putting Ramsey as a top. And we made the corners episode before it dropped. Like, what do you want? We should have known at the time. It was.
We should have known.
Like you two were the Steelers haters on the North episode.
Yeah, there's no one coming
defender.
to kill Matt that wouldn't come see me.
Right, they're going for you. And this is the thing. When they come for me with their pitchforks and the torches, I'm giving up you two and your locations for my safety. So it's really no big deal. I said, you can have 2 for 1 here if you leave me alone.
Yeah, bro. They don't.
I'll forget I ever saw anything very easily. Don't worry. So
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of these dudes. Like, I don't have a gun or anything.
I'm just sitting here unarmed. I
got a baseball bat. Like, you're not getting through me, buddy. But I'll run through the list here before we get out, just to All right. 1 through 30. I'm not going to say the numbers, just this is 1 through 30. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Jefferson, Myles Garrett, Josh Allen, Kyle Hamilton, Jamar Chase, Micah Parsons, Saquon Barkley, Lane Johnson, Dexter Lawrence, Patrick Surtain, Joe Burrow, Fred Warner, Chris Jones, George Kittle, A.J. Brown, Tyler Linderbaum, Derrick Henry, Tristan Wirfs, T.J. Watt, Sauce Gardner, Creed Humphrey, Brian Branch, Justin Herbert, Nick Bosa, CeeDee Lamb, Zach Bond, Penei Sewell, and Derek Stingley are the top 30 players in the NFL, according to this episode of Stay Hot, a Sports Podcast. What are you saying, Matt?
Not bad. I was counting, but then I accidentally used the same finger twice, and I was trying to signal I figured out what mistake I made. I'm really excited to see this graphic on Twitter. Let's get out.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode. And as always, from your favorite 3 fellas here on the internet talking about football called Stay Hot, we'll catch you on the flippity flop.